What's up, y'all? So, just want to do a quick vlog real quick. Sorry if I look funky. But, so I've done several videos in the past about David Pilates and Missing 411, which is, just just a quick recap. There's hundreds and thousands of people that go missing in our national forests and woods on a daily basis, and it's not covered by mainstream media. Why are we not surprised? and You hardly ever hear about it. And David Pilates was on the police department. I forgot in what city and state many years ago, and he kept getting these cases of children and other people that would go missing out of absolutely nowhere. One second they're with their mom and dad, they're walking behind their mom and dad, hiking on a trail, and then the next second they're gone. And how over so anyway, he started doing investigations on his own time into all of these cases, and to this day they have not been able to find the reasoning behind how quickly these and how often these people go missing within like your national forests and mountains. So I did several videos on this David Pilates 411. If you go to my playlist, I've tried to group them all based on their topic, on the topic of each video, and I have like titles on the cover of each video. So you can look for my Missing 411 videos that I've already done. However, and I stated this then, but I feel led to state it again. Especially now what's going on with pizzagate and with all of the pedophile rings that's going on, which there are plenty. This is what I believe is happening. There's been plenty of people that have come forth and said, I think it's aliens that's abducting these kids on these mountains. I believe that it's Bigfoot, or some, crazed lunatic that's half man and half animal. No, y'all, this is what I believe in my spirit. This is what I believe is going on. I believe that there are underground tunnels that are connected in all of our major forests and mountains. That there are underground tunnels that are connected. And there's openings on the ground to all of these underground tunnels that are connected, which will explain at least two different situations that seems to happen with every single one of these cases. One of those situations being how quickly the child, because they're normally kids, how quickly the child goes missing within seconds. Almost with every single case, not all, but with almost about 90 to 95% of these cases of people that go missing in these national forests and mountains is how they're standing with their parents or their friends or whatever, or it's a group trip for kids. And it's usually the last person that's in the back of the line. If it's like a field trip group of kids, if it's a family, like a mom, a dad, a son, a daughter, it's usually the child that's behind the family members. When in not several, hundreds of cases, the parents like just talking to the child standing right behind them, and then within 1 to 2 seconds, the child completely vanishes. No, I do not believe it's an alien race that's snatching these kids from the sky. No, that's a whole nother vlog. I believe that like I said, there are underground tunnels that are connected to all of these areas. And they have openings in the ground where, and I don't know how they do it, but I believe that there are people that watch out for these openings. So that if anybody's in the mountains or in the forest just chilling, a group of teenagers or whoever, they're just walking around trying to find a place to camp. If anybody were to come upon one of them, the whole crew would be shot and killed. Because what they don't want is they don't want anybody to find a single opening to these tunnels, because then they'll find the opening and the remaining tunnels. Like they'll be able to find all the tunnels. So they have to keep these tunnels secret. But I believe that they are not far apart from each other. And everybody's looking up in the sky and thinking it's aliens or thinking it's some Bigfoot. No, I think it's right below your feet. And that would explain how quickly a child can get taken. And then, like I said, I don't know how they do it. I'm pretty sure they've got it mapped out pretty well. But the person that's underneath the tunnel, the opening of the tunnel, or one of the openings, they'll get a cue from somebody that's above it on ground, that's watching this family. And as soon as the child walks near the tunnel, the opening of the tunnel, and the parents aren't looking, they cue the person that's underneath the tunnel, the opening of the tunnel, and then the person just opens up the tunnel and just snatches the kid. And that's why within a second they're gone. Too fast to just run someplace. It's within a second that they're gone. I believe that that's what it is, which will also explain my second situation, and that being how on a lot of these cases, for the kids that are lucky enough to be found, they're in about 95% of the cases, if not all of the cases, of those children that have been lucky enough to be found, within a day or two, maybe even 2 or 3 days later, they're always found like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet away, up on high altitudes of mountains, that there's no way they could have gotten to that high up of that mountain without hiking equipment. Like, that's how, because all the tunnels are connected and they have openings everywhere. So for whatever reason, if they decide to let a child go, where they snatch the child at the bottom of the mountain, they could easily just let go at the top of the mountain by opening one of the tunnels in the ground, one of their little openings, and letting the child out. Now, I do not believe that these openings to these tunnels are metal or anything hard. I don't believe that. Now, they have to be hard enough to where somebody can step on one of them and not fall through, but I don't believe that they're hard, because if somebody's stepping on something that's metal, that's hard, they may, for whatever reason, they may feel that as they're walking and be like, whoa, 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 let me back up. What is that? What? And start jumping on it. Like, what is that? Move away the grass, move away the fallen trees and the branches and the leaves and the sticks, and start digging and find the opening. So they got to make it to where the opening is something you can walk on and not fall through, but not hard. So, and I believe that the opening is camouflaged, because then I know some folks going to be like, okay, well then when they open up the top to let the child through, when it shuts, it obviously can't make any sound. So it's got to be soundproof. Sorry, my video shut off. So obviously the opening to the tunnel that's on the ground has got to be soundproof, because when it shuts, it can't make any noise, right? So obviously it can't be like metal or like some gate. And then you got to take into consideration that once it's shut, what about all the leaves and debris that was covering the top of it? Wouldn't that fall off to the side and then reveal the opening? So that's what I'm saying. It's got to be camouflaged. Now, I don't know how they do that, but I'm sure they've got a big plan. But y'all may think I'm crazy. Y'all know I don't care, because I honestly do believe that that's what's going on in all of these mountains and national forests. That's what I believe is going on. I believe that there are tunnels that are connected. And that's how these kids are getting taken, just like that, within 1 second. And that's how they're found all the way at the top of a mountain, when where they disappeared at was all the way at the bottom. And not to mention, God is so good, not to mention the fact that with every single child that was lucky enough to be found, when they were found, you would, like, they've been gone 2 or 3 days. They don't have their tennis shoes on, like their little shoes. They don't have them on. But guess what, people? Their feet aren't messed up. Their feet are not dirty. Their feet are not messed up. Explain that, right? If you're a little kid and you've been missing in the woods and in the mountains and the weather's bad and it's been 2 to 3 days, 24 to 48 hours, and they finally find you, not to mention you're at the top of the mountain, but not only that, you're missing your shoes, but your feet aren't dirty, which they would have been. They would have been bleeding and scraped up from walking, from walking all that way, right? Boom, that explains it again. Now, why the abductors are taking the shoes and not keeping the, now they do keep a lot of these kids, y'all, because there's hundreds and thousands that have yet to be found. But for whatever reason, they pick and choose what children they keep. And for whatever reason, the ones that they let go and are found like hundreds and hundreds of miles away without their shoes, but yet their feet are in perfect condition, that explains it too. They were taken under that tunnel. And all of these kids that were found, none of them remember anything about what happened to them. I honestly believe that they are drugged when they are taken immediately underneath. I believe that they are drugged. I do not know why some are picked to be abducted fully and never brought back, and why some aren't, and they're returned back to the earth. Back to earth, meaning back to the top of where they were taken from, or on the mountain, like they lift up the tunnel, let them out. I don't know that. And I don't know if I want to know that, but that's what I believe is going on. I don't care what you think, if you think I'm crazy or whatever. I believe that, and I believe a lot of this has to do with Pizzagate and the whole pedophile ring that's going on all over this world. I think that it's all connected. There's underground tunnels, and that's where these people are being taken. I'm Aggie out loud, and I'm out. Peace. Oh yeah, and one more thing. They say a lot of times that with the search dogs that are going out with the search and rescue people, that a lot of the times the dogs will, they'll be moving around the forest, going real fast, and sometimes moving kind of slow, but that all of them basically will eventually just stop, lay down on the ground, and refuse to move. Why don't people start digging where the dog is stopped? Has anybody thought about that? Instead of just being like, oh, maybe the dog's just exhausted. Maybe we should just head back. It is kind of getting dark. Why don't you start looking where the dog is sitting? Not only that, for the children that go missing, why don't, and then the search and rescue come out and they're with the family and they're like, okay, where exactly were you when you last saw your child? Why don't somebody start looking underground on the exact spot that it was that they saw that child standing? Okay? So, like, if a mom's right here and she's like, my child was right here and then she just vanished. Well, why don't somebody start digging? Start looking underneath the feet of where that child was standing at? It's just a thought.